Michael Moore and Bill Maher are absolutely panicking as all the polls coming in are showing a massive Trump landslide in November. In this video, we're going to take a look at the latest leftist panic. We're going to look at a mass defection among Democrat mayors who are endorsing President Trump and how the latest polls all point to an absolute blowout in November. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone, patriots all across the globe. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you as always. If this is your first time with us and you're looking for some daily encouragement and optimism as well as analysis to help you make sense of these crazy times, then you have found your oasis on this channel. We post 2 videos a day analyzing current events, analyze some super awesome conservative trends so we can all live in the present in light of even better things to come. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular part of this channel where each and every day we together celebrate the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. But first, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's the makers of this beautiful 2020 Christ the Last Supper coin. Now, you're not going to believe this. This limited edition, highly sought after coin is actually being given away completely for free until it runs out. Now, on the front side, there's a beautiful etched out illustration of Christ. And on the reverse side, it's a perfectly etched illustration of the Last Supper. Absolutely beautiful. Now, like I said, just for a limited time, the Last Supper coins are free. So they're going to go fast. So what you need to do is you need to click on that link below today before they all are out. Once they run out, that's it. You won't have another opportunity like this one again. So do not wait. Make sure to click on that link below and include this little blessing in your life today. All right, guys, let's dive in here. I told you so when everybody was panicking about Trump's polls. I told you so. Just wait. You're going to see it amazing. Let's begin. Let's switch the panic. Let's begin with the panic on the left, shall we? Wasn't just a few weeks ago, the chorus on the left was Biden's going to win. He's going to win. There's no way. He doesn't even need to debate Trump, right? That's what Thomas Friedman at the New York Times originally advocated before Pelosi opened her mouth. Biden's got this election such a lock he doesn't even need to debate Trump. James Carville, who was behind Bill Clinton's successful campaign in '92. He's out there saying, oh, there's no way Trump can win. Trump's toast. He's gone. By the way, he said the same thing in 2016. Do you remember all this? It's just a few weeks ago. Where's all that talk now? After a disastrous vice presidential pick with Kamala Harris, who actually hurts Biden politically. She's a very unpopular figure, even on the left. After their cringe-vention, which was an abject disaster by all accounts, even leftists admitted it was a total failure. And perhaps most importantly, after the polls indicate that voters are outraged and they're overwhelmingly blaming Democrats for these race riots that are ruining our cities nationwide. All this is happening while the Republican Party put on one of the best conventions in history. It was an astonishing feat. Utterly crushed the Democrats in terms of the ratings. Did you see this? From Fox, total viewership for the Republican convention, that includes, by the way, both online and television ratings, was nearly 150 million total views for the Republicans. That's nearly half the country. And it was 30 million more than the Democrats were able to muster, which was only 120 million. And I wish more got to see it because it was such an embarrassment. Now the Democrats are not just beginning to panic, they are in full panic mode. Michael Goodwin over at the New York Post has a great piece out, Why Democrats and their liberal media minions are running scared. And he makes the same argument we made in our last video I just uploaded. You'll definitely want to check it out. Voters are indeed blaming the Democrats for these mass race riots across the country. And the GOP caught that trend and they hammered it relentlessly every night at their convention. And as a result, we're seeing even Democrat politicians begin to defect. I'm sure many of you saw this over the weekend. 6 Democrat mayors in the swing state of Minnesota have endorsed President Trump. Now, these mayors are part of the mass defection that happened in 2016. We've talked about this in a number of our videos. By the way, for you podcast fan out there, we recently launched our brand new Turley Talks podcast, which tens of thousands of you have been downloading. Thank you so much for that. So you can actually help us become the #1 conservative news and commentary podcast by simply clicking on the link below in the pinned comment section and just signing up to download our new podcast. Let's make it #1 together, all right? But we saw in 2016 nothing less than a massive political paradigm shift. It was a political earthquake, really. There were nearly 200 counties that had voted for the Democratic presidential candidate in every single election since the 1980s by a 20-point margin that suddenly swung over and voted for Trump by a comparable 20-point margin. You have to let that hit you. I think it was a major indicator of this massive political tectonic shift that's going on towards the right. There are county after county, nearly 200 of them in Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Minnesota that voted for Mondale and then for Dukakis and then Clinton twice and Gore and Kerry and Obama twice. I should say they didn't just vote for the Democrat. They gave the Democrat a 20-point margin over the last 3 decades. All of a sudden, to the shock of pollsters and pundits alike, these counties turned around and voted for Trump by a comparable 20-point margin. It was a 40-point swing to the nationalist populist right. So what we're seeing here with this defection of these 6 mayors over to Trump, I think we're seeing nothing less than an actual expansion of that political earthquake, and that now you have Democrat mayors in these counties openly and officially endorsing President Trump. And all this is going on while Joe Biden just is hiding in his basement. Poor Joe. So needless to say, leftists have begun to panic, since it really does look like all the momentum has shifted to the Trump campaign. Far-left activist Michael Moore is sounding the alarm. He sees the voter enthusiasm behind Trump as being, in his words, absolutely off the charts. Here's what Moore wrote on his Facebook page. Check this out. Are you ready for a Trump victory? Are you mentally prepared to be outsmarted by Trump again? Do you find comfort in your certainty that there is no way Trump can win? Are you content with the trust you've placed in the DNC to pull this off? The Biden campaign just announced he'll be visiting a number of states, but not Michigan. Sound familiar? I'm warning you almost 10 weeks in advance. The enthusiasm level for the 60 million in Trump's base is off the charts. For Joe, not so much. That's quite the understatement, is it not? For Joe, not so much. How about for Joe, not at all? Now, Michael Moore isn't the only leftist panicking here. Look at this from Bill Maher. During an interview on the ultra-left MSNBC, Maher admitted that he was feeling nervous about the 2020 election after watching the massive success of the Republican convention. And he said, and again, I'm quoting him here, quote, "I feel very nervous, the same way I did 4 years ago at this time," close quote. Now, it's interesting because, speaking of 4 years ago, both Maher and Michael Moore predicted that Trump would indeed beat Hillary in 2016. And by the way, Trump couldn't help but troll Bill Maher on this. He retweeted Maher's quote with the comment, "Leading in Michigan, leading in Minnesota, leading all over. Sorry, Bill." Oh my, is Trump right? The polls just continue to swing his way. President Trump got a massive bump in the polls from that amazing convention. According to the Democracy Institute's polling of 1,500 likely voters, Trump now leads Biden nationally by 3 points, 48 to 45%. He has a commanding 7-point lead in the so-called battleground states, the swing states. It gets even better. When we go to the Real Clear Politics aggregate polling that averages out all the polls, Trump and Biden are now closer today than at this time back in 2016. In August of 2016, Hillary Clinton led in the averaged out swing state polls by 4.6%. Today, Biden leads by a razor-thin margin of 2.7%. Hillary almost doubled the average out lead over Trump that Biden has. And of course, she went on to decisively and embarrassingly lose most of all of those swing states. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Dr. Gerard Lamero. He's an expert in election forecasting models. He's very, very good. He's a good friend. He predicted Trump would win in 2016. He actually got every single state right. Well, he has an article that he just wrote that observes that every single election trend is moving in Trump's direction. The riots are trending in Trump's favor. Again, you want to check out our latest video where we talk about that. Voter enthusiasm, of course, is trending in Trump's favor. Lamero notes that Biden's voter enthusiasm is actually lower now than Hillary's was in 2016. It's actually even lower than Mitt Romney's failed bid in 2012. By contrast, Trump has an even higher voter enthusiasm than in 2016 because he kept his promises. With regard to voter intensity, Biden is in the basement and Trump's voter intensity is off the charts. That's how Lamero put it. Voter registration is moving in Trump's favor. There's been a 5% shift in voter registration towards the Republicans since Memorial Day. The Democratic Party is trending downward. They're losing in voter registration. Republicans are trending upward. Even COVID is trending in Trump's favor because of Biden's silly promise to lock down the nation if he ends up getting elected. Everything is trending in Trump's way. Now, of course, we can't get complacent. We don't want to be presumptuous and make the same stupid mistake Democrats made in 2016, for sure. But these trends certainly should make us more excited than ever to go out and vote and celebrate 4 more years of nationalism, populism, and traditionalism. And Lamero is predicting that Trump will win upwards of 348 electoral votes, which would be an absolute blowout. That's more than Obama won in 2012. It's comparable to what he got in 2008. Helmut Norpoth, who has the best record in predicting presidential elections, his algorithm predicted almost every single election rightly since 1912. If you can believe it. It's a predictive model that's been predicting elections accurately for over a century. Okay, he's at the University of Stony Brook. He's predicting that Trump will win with 362 electoral votes, which is more or less what Obama got in 2008. And keep in mind, this would mean that unlike Obama, who lost votes for his reelection, he lost over 30 electoral votes for his reelection. Unlike Obama, Trump would be like Reagan and actually increase his electoral vote total for his reelection. So this is some pretty amazing stuff going on. Again, we do not want to get complacent, but it is very, very exciting to see these trends moving in the direction of Donald Trump's reelection. Now, before you go, make sure to comment down below, like this video, and subscribe to our channel. And you'll definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on how the killing of a Trump-supporting patriot in Portland may indeed be sparking a civil war, all as outraged voters turn against the Democrats in droves. You're not going to want to miss this, so make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.